Hello everyone, welcome to another free online educational webinar provided to you by the safest place to trade, FXPRIMUS. This is our first webinar on cryptocurrencies, a market that has been booming over the past few months, not to say years. Today we will talk about cryptocurrencies and the Bitcoin, which is the king of cryptos, and we'll have time at the end to discuss any possible questions that you may come up with or anything you'd like to ask with regards to cryptos. Here at FXPRIMUS, we do offer over 120 instruments, including the standard pairs, commodities, stocks, and indexes. And now, after a very big, massive demand that we have from you, we brought to you cryptocurrencies as a CFD. Weeks back, we announced the official launch of 5 cryptocurrencies available to all clients via our MT4 platform. You can now trade Bitcoin, Ethereum, Ripple, Litecoin, and Dash, a list of pairs that we have researched and scrutinized before we selected to ensure the safest route to this modern trading journey of yours. Our regulations and license means you can benefit from our industry-leading safe trading environment while we work towards achieving your needs. With this new launch, FXPRIMUS demonstrates its commitment to providing new popular products and instruments to you, our valued clients. We are actively seeking to trade on the world's most innovative digital currencies. This is your opportunity to diversify your portfolio and take advantage of our new offering. We, FXPRIMUS, are globally acclaimed for offering one of the most secure online trading environments available anywhere in the Forex industry. Our firm enables clients of all experience levels to trade multiple instruments, including Forex, commodities, energies, indices, and the cryptocurrencies, of course, via a range of advanced web and mobile trading platforms. Lightning quick executions via state-of-the-art execution systems worldwide combined to create a quiet and efficient trading environment. Your funds, as our client, are protected via an unshakable risk management model built to withstand any unexpected market volatility. We are the first brokerage in the industry to offer additional insurance of up to 2.5 million, plus third-party overseeing of client funds by Boutique Client Trust, in addition to the daily access to market research, daily market alerts, signals, and other free services. Now a little about me. I began my career in the Forex market as a senior trader and worked professionally over the past few years with leading financial service providers. I hold a master's in engineering and also an MBA obtained by a reputable UK university. Over the past year, I have been involved with trading algorithms and also systematic trading and have been profitable trading the markets, but also, of course, I have lost capital as everybody else, I suppose. I am successful and good in technical analysis and risk management, and I recently moved to Cyprus, Limassol, to join FXPRIMUS team, hoping to help you traders and investors trade safer and with more success. Now, cryptocurrencies. I suppose most of you here have taken a glimpse over the internet and know what Bitcoin is all about, what cryptocurrencies represent. If you haven't, don't worry. We will go through a few things here today, things that I think you should know in order to help you understand the workings of cryptos and then decide whether this is something you would like to be involved with. Okay, before I go ahead to the topics we will go through today, please allow me to read out to you our risk disclaimer first. Please note that Forex trading and trading in other leveraged products involves a significant level of risk that is not suitable for all investors. Trading in financial instruments may result in losses as well as profits, and your losses can be greater than your initial invested capital. Before undertaking any such transactions, you should ensure that you fully understand the risks involved and seek independent advice if necessary. Any opinions, news, research, analysis, prices, or other information contained on this webinar or linked to from this webinar are provided as general market commentary and do not constitute investment advice. FXPRIMUS or its representatives do not accept their liability for any loss or damage, including without limitation to any loss of profit, which may arise directly or indirectly from use or of reliance on such information. Okay, so this is our agenda for today. We will go through the differences between fiat, which is pretty much the currencies that are being used today that hold no intrinsic value but are regulated. We'll go through electronic money and also the cryptocurrencies. We will talk about the crypto market and the main reasons traders, institutions, and investors are involved, as well as the reasons behind the recent rise of this market. We will also dive into regulation, what's happening with regulators and governments, and the operational and non-operational limitations, risks, and threats from cryptocurrencies. In addition, I will show you my top resource and news sites that you can use for your daily research and go through some tips on how to use technical analysis to support crypto trading decisions. Okay. Furthermore, we will see the main differences between digital and traditional exchanges by comparing the pros and cons on trading via a digital exchange and as CFD via traditional brokers such as ourselves. Last, we will see how you can do some simple risk management in order to protect yourselves in this highly volatile market. And then I will take a few questions. Okay, so in the first slide, we're going to see the difference between the forms, or let's call it system, if you may, of money today. Before I go ahead, I think it's important to explain what the gold standard is first, or what it was, so that you have a better understanding about our current money system. The gold standard uses the money system used in the US for most of 1800s, mostly actually 1900s, up to 1930, I think, which in a few words meant that for every dollar, there was a dollar's worth of gold reserved at the bank. This system failed, however, despite the fact that it didn't allow banks to print out much money, as prices of gold were fixed after some point. And this stability gave governments little discretion to use monetary policy in order to avoid monetary or real-time shocks. Now, fiat is the currency, is the current money used today that is printed by banks, is regulated and circulated by governments. Know that fiat means that there is no intrinsic value. It's only used as a medium of exchange, okay? However, regulated. The value is set by supply and demand, as there is no reserves of any metal in the banks for every dollar. Now, the electronic money is alternative to cash, okay? It is legally established by e-money issuers, authorities from different governments. Okay, now in terms of the virtual, which is the cryptocurrencies or digital currencies, call it as you wish, they are community based. Okay, this is peer-to-peer exchange pretty much. Okay, and it circulates through data. Okay, and every time a transaction happens, there is a financial incentive along with the transaction. Okay, for the person who is actually doing the transaction. Now, fiat is not backed by a physical commodity, as we said earlier. Okay. Now the electronic money is backed by fiat, and also the cryptocurrencies, they are not backed by any physical commodity, and their the acceptance is voluntary, pretty much. Okay. It's running based on a proof of work. This is a protocol that is used for cryptocurrencies. Fiat is made of paper, while the electronic money is anything that is held on cards, devices, or any servers, and any money that is actually being used electronically for transactions, okay, to do any purchases online. Now, the virtual is produced in the blockchain, okay. It's digital. A blockchain is a network of computers that they communicate with one another, okay, pretty much. And they run some protocols in order to achieve that communication. It's purely digital, and the generation of coins is based on mathematical equations, basically. A computer must have the capacity to solve some algorithmic mathematical problem in order to be rewarded and to generate Bitcoin, for example. Now, the fiat, its value depends on the stability of the government and also the economy, okay, as well as the electronic money. but its value, of course, is stored electronically. Okay. Now, in virtual currencies, the value depends on how well it is accepted as a form of money. Okay, and it does have a very high speculative nature. Fiat is available for banks, as we all know. Electronic money can be also accessible from any electronic devices. And now, virtual cryptocurrencies are also available from electronic devices nowadays, but they are also limited to internet connection. Okay. In terms of the fiat, which is the dollar, euro, yen, the currencies we use today, in any sort of transaction, the customer identity is known. Okay, this is the same for electronic money, where in cryptocurrencies, this can be anonymous. Okay. Also, in terms of legality and regulation, the cryptocurrencies are only legal in few countries, regulated maybe in few countries, and the regulations are in a gray area at the moment. There is a lot of things going on. We hear the different things in the news every day because they get difficulties in classifying cryptocurrencies as to exactly what this is. If it is an asset, it is a security, and so I think they will take a couple of years until everything is legalized and regulated, if that will be the case, of course. Now, another difference is that the fiat money is centralized. Okay, so that means there is a central bank, and any transaction goes through the bank. Virtual currencies are decentralized. There is no third party involved. There is no bank in the middle, and any transactions are actually occurring peer to peer. That means from a computer to another computer. And people are responsible for the transactions. Okay, so if you send a certain amount of coins to a specific address, this is a decision that you have to take. Whereas in fiat and electronic currencies, the money supply is a Fed is responsible for the supply of money. Okay, and the electronic is used as a mean of electronic exchange. Nothing more than that. Now, in terms of the virtuals, some of them have a limited supply. For example, here we're looking at Bitcoins. Bitcoin has a limited supply of 21 million coins. Ripple, for example, has 1 billion supply. Okay, that is the reason that its price is very, very low, because there is a lot of supply. Now, thinking that, while we are actually today, I think, around 18.5 million that have been mined already. So there's only a few left, and this is why we see this demand in Bitcoins, because Bitcoin mining, which is basically generation of Bitcoins, has also been getting harder and harder because they're becoming more scarce. One second, let me go to the next page, to the next slides. Okay, on these slides, we can see the main reasons that led to all this fuss about Bitcoin and the crypto world in general. There are 5 main reasons that that the growth of interest has become very big. If we look back at 2008, 2009, when Bitcoin was first born, actually shortly after Lehman Brothers collapsed as demand for alternative currencies surged. Those are scarcity, fungibility, divisibility, transferability, and durability. Those are the very same qualities that made gold commodity money. Gold is limited, okay, interchangeable. It can be divided into smaller increments. It can be transferred and also has the ability to last. Okay, this is what makes cryptos, each one on its own way, of course, nowadays, desirable from people. In addition, over the past few months, the markets have surged tremendously, and here's what I was able to think and find as viable reasons for that. First of all, people started losing confidence in dollar. which is the mother currency of exchange, okay, as it keeps losing purchasing power every year and makes a poor store of value. Second, we have a lot of demand for safe havens due to geopolitical tensions between US and North Korea and China. We had the Qatar diplomatic crisis, we had the Kurdish and the Catalan independence referendums, as well as a number of storms, fires, earthquakes, and terrorist attacks. Well, you may ask, what does safe havens have to do with Bitcoin and cryptos? Well, in times of uncertainty, like for example in Venezuela, because there is an escalating political crisis around President Maduro, and the government struggles to deal with the downturn in the oil industry, it's actually considered as a safe haven. Third, and after a new record high of $220 trillion global debt, compared to 205 trillion 5 years ago, people are concerned as outside money created by central banks have continued to grow, okay? And as of the first quarter of 2017, it hit an all-time high of 240% of GDP. Now, that's mainly reasons concerning the dollar, okay? As of reasons concerning the digital currencies, they do offer lucrative returns due to their highly volatile nature, okay? And their correlations to other currencies, it's minimum, okay? This is why institutions and hedge funds do include cryptos in their portfolio because of the fast, large returns, okay? In addition, they enable cross-border payments, okay? You can pay anyone, anywhere in the world, anytime you want. Furthermore, crypto's reputation increased as their classification as digital assets, as they are classified as digital assets nowadays, means that their value is tied to some other asset assigned to the coin by the original owner. Okay, does this make sense? Let me give you an example. If I announce that I transfer a Bitcoin from A to B, okay, and that represents 1 ounce of gold. If I announce that this represents 1 ounce of gold, then the receiver can send back the coin and claim ownership of the 1 ounce of gold. Okay. Now that is still in progress, of course, but it has gained a lot of traction. Okay, it's still in progress because there are still technological limitations. Lastly, why the fuzz? Simply to hedge inflation. Pretty much protect against the depreciation of currencies. Okay, for example, on a relatively high inflation, okay, accompanied by fears about, let's say, the current economic stake in the US and the global monetary system, and inflation could act as a hedge trade for Bitcoin, okay, as depreciation of currencies should be expected. Now, cryptos are also seen in a whole different way. They are seen as a better form of money than the paper or the electronic money, and as also digital gold or digital monetary commodities. Cryptos are indeed programmable money, okay? And we will get to that later if you wish so. They are easy to use, transactions are very fast, and also the cost of the transactions are very small compared to traditional transfers via banks. Nowadays, and with the Ethereum revolutionizing the industry, each one of the crypto coins is being born to solve a problem. All of them do have something in common though, okay? They are all decentralized, which means there's no middleman. There's no bank to make the transfer for you. Okay, no one to print sort of money. Well, apart when there is a fork. And the cycles are purely in control of the people that trade it. Okay, speculators, and not the banks. Now on the next slides, okay, we see the extremely huge upsurge of the crypto world back from April, right here, or even if you look back to January, April, March this year. The market cap, this is the market cap, which is pretty much the total number of coins in circulation, okay? It's multiplied with the current coin price. This has actually tripled, Okay, so you see we are on 50 billion over here. We had a retracement down the 55, 60 level in August, in middle of July or so, and then price edged up to above 150 billion. Okay, it tripled within a period of a few months, reaching around 170 billion actually. While at the same time the volume tripled within a period of days, not a period of few months, within a period of days. Trading volume, this is. Note that over 60% of this was Bitcoin alone, okay, the market cap. Now, this figure obviously changed. I think it's around 51%. At some point back in June, we also had Bitcoin and Ethereum reaching the same almost market cap, okay? But the Bitcoin gained momentum later. It surpassed Ethereum and currently stands at 51% market cap, okay? Note that a few months back, there were only a few cryptos or a few cryptocurrencies. When I say a few, I'm going to give you some numbers here. Okay, so today we have around 1,200 cryptocurrencies. Okay, now I recall a month ago or so, we only had 900. Okay, also, despite all the legal issues against the ICOs and the cryptocurrencies in general, we saw an addition of 200 new coins just in a month. And yes, this is one of the reasons cryptocurrencies have also recently risen. In fact, I think the next slide is all about the rise of cryptos. Let's have a look. Yes, okay, so the cryptocurrency world, we all know that it has gone crazy for token offers, okay, for these ICOs, popularly known as ICOs or initial coin offerings. Those alone have raised more than 150 million this year. Okay, as they are considered as a disruptive way of pushing away traditional venture capitalists from the process, from the fundraising process, and also at the same time escaping regulations by the United States Securities and Exchange Commission. And why would they want to do that? Because there is a Securities Act from SEC that says that companies can only issue private shares to individuals with a net worth of at least 1 million. Okay, where in ICOs, crowdfunding is allowed. Okay, so how it works: you buy a token up front, providing funds for coders or for a team to develop a promised technology. Okay, now if the technology works as advertised by the coders or by the team and increase in popularity, it should naturally attract more users, right? Now, by attracting more users, this will increase the demand for the token offered at the beginning as an ICO, initial coin offering, okay? Now, a startup that raises money or using an ICO is able to actually gather the same amount of capital, of investment, while it also maintains control of how its shares or tokens are managed, okay, without having to give away any share to others. Now, through the ICOs, the companies can accumulate money from anybody, okay, regardless of their location, of their race, of their status, and of how much money they have in the bank, or if they're rich or poor. Okay, so pretty much this is a way of that the internet is being used to globalize funding. Okay, one other reason can be attributed to mining. Okay, mining Bitcoin or any other cryptocurrencies requires high computing power. Okay, and it's solving a complex mathematical equation, proving that an anonymous miner used the process the network agreed upon to build the blockchain record of transactions. Okay, miners then can get in return Bitcoin in reward, okay, as a reward for successfully completing the equation. Pretty much is I have a computer and I have it solving algorithms, mathematical equations pretty much. Okay, and the sooner it happens, once I have a block of certain transactions, then I am rewarded with a Bitcoin. Now, the rise in price hasn't only attracted Bitcoin buyers, okay, but also resulted in an upsurge of in digital currency mining. Okay, today mining Bitcoin or any cryptocurrencies it requires a very powerful hardware. Okay, it is very specialized activity. It used to be something that it isn't too hard to do, and anyone could do it. But nowadays, because the algorithms are becoming harder and harder to solve, okay, they require more power. Okay. Now, saying this, one should also consider the cost of electricity. So, if there's no investment in a very good mining equipment, it would be better to stick to just buying from an exchange, okay? Because mining can actually cost you more money. So, why is the rise so fast? Here's a few more reasons, okay? For a start, since the inception of Ethereum, that was back in 2014, I think, we started experiencing the remake of the internet's business model, okay? Because the decentralized applications running within a blockchain were created, and tokens, cryptocurrencies, were used to pay for those services that were provided within the specific application. And not only, of course. Many crypto projects raised money from the community, from people to develop their projects, okay? And most of them, they have used Ethereum to raise money and also as a platform to develop their projects, okay? So Ethereum did set a standard, okay? So it is the easy way to start building a project is with Ethereum, within the Ethereum platform. Think Ethereum, something like Apple, for example. When Apple started, it made their platform open source, and anyone could go there and create his own app and then sell it. This is how Ethereum works. But the exchange money, the transaction money, is actually happening with the coin that is being developed. Okay. Now the result is that many people that buy Ethereum to be able to invest in projects. Okay, and many of the ICO projects hold that money afterwards in Ethereum. Okay, this is what drives the price up, and at the same time it also drives user adoption up. Okay, right now, for example, it's very easy as a startup, as an ICO, to raise 10 million or even 20 million for your for an Ethereum-based business. Okay, and more businesses will actually seize that opportunity immediately, because it's not easy to raise 10 million or 20 million by investors. Now, I also talk about Japan here. Japan have given Bitcoin the green light as a currency. Okay, so it is considered as a currency in Japan, and are also looking to increase the rigor that their exchanges should be a subject of regulation if they use cryptocurrencies as an exchange, as Bitcoin pretty much, while at the same time the current price differences in the Japanese markets and elsewhere, actually, they can offer also the possibility of arbitrage, and this is what makes the markets more attractive. However, part of the growth is also attributed to greed from inexperienced investors. Okay. So on this slide, we're going to talk a little about what has been happening in the regulations arena of the past few months. Let's see what has happened recently. SEC, which is the Securities Exchange Commission in the US, issued the results of an investigation into the details around a cryptocurrency ICO. Okay, and they decided that there is still uncertainty about the classification of the currencies and also whether these transactions qualify as investment contracts. Okay, now given that there is no charges or there have been no charges brought against this ICO, okay, it is likely that existing cryptocurrencies are safe from securities regulation for the time being, okay? Although that may not be the case for long, because we have seen a lot of news coming out in terms of regulation and whether they will be regulated or not, whether they will be banned or not, whether they should be considered as securities or not, and another lot of stuff we have heard over the past few weeks. Now, the US Commodity Futures Trading Commission, CFTC, known, also granted a cryptocurrency trading platform operator. They granted approval for them to become the first regulated digital currency options exchange, okay, and also a clearinghouse in the US. Now, after the Chinese government's ban of ICOs last month, I'm not sure if you have heard, but there was a ban on initial coin offerings. There are also continuous rumors saying that the Chinese government is actually indeed preparing to enter the cryptocurrency market. Okay. However, I have not read any official statements or any official announcements. So, this could be just a rumor. Okay. Always know where you read from and what you read. Look at the sources and look at the eligibility of the paper you read or the article. Now, nobody can be, of course, 100% sure, okay, what the Chinese government is going to do next. In Japan now, the FSA is very keen to move into regulating an asset that was invented to defy regulation, okay? And Japan, by volume, is one of the largest senders of Bitcoin trading, okay, on any given day. And also, of course, that has been helped by China clamping down ICOs and Bitcoin, okay. Now, the Japanese government sees a lot of potential opportunity as well as threat in this, okay. Now, in terms of Australia, Australia's anti-money laundering scandal that involved the Commonwealth Bank of Australia, CBA, it also marks the first stage of a reform process, okay, aimed at Australia's move to regulate the cryptocurrencies following Japan. Russia, from the other hand, is also drawing up rules about how to conduct ICOs or initial coin offerings, breaking ranks with China. Also, after President Vladimir Putin, he's signaled he's actually approved digital currencies. Okay, now India also may issue their own cryptocurrency, and they will going to use this as a legal tender, okay, in an attempt to get back on track from a failure to wipe out those huge amounts of the so-called black money and streamline its large cash-based economy. Now, Dubai, the government of Dubai has also unveiled its own cryptocurrency that will allow people of Dubai to use the cryptocurrency to pay anything for every service that there is in Dubai. In Brazil, the largest brokerage in Brazil filed a patent on the brand XP Bitcoin, okay? And this was a step to legitimize Bitcoins and also recognize the currency as the future currency. Now, in Europe, the major esports platform has been also awarded a betting license, a move that will open up its platform to a real money wagering via its crypto token. Continue on the regulations and limitations. Let's talk a little about anonymity. Okay, according to IRS, every Bitcoin transaction and its associated capital gains or losses must be reported to the IRS for tax purposes. Okay, and US citizens are liable to pay the tax on capital gains. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that Bitcoin earnings are taxable, and it's not as it's not considered to be a legal tender. Okay, but any purchases with Bitcoin are subject to taxation. For example, if I bought something with Bitcoin, then it has to be taxated. If I was earning some Bitcoins from trading, this is a different thing. Okay. Now, Bitcoin holders can easily avoid declaring any transactions, okay, whether IRS says it or not, as their identity is supposed to be anonymous. But is it anonymous? Bitcoin's anonymity is also a powerful tool for financing crime. Okay, and this is the paradox of the cryptocurrency. Okay, is that its associated data can create a forensic trail that can make your whole financial history public. Okay, now the majority of the Bitcoin users, of course, are law-abiding citizens, law-abiding people, and they are mainly motivated by privacy concerns. Okay, now without a bank account or without a bank acting as a third party, in a case of breaking the law, things beg to differ. Okay, which is natural. Now, how will this affect the future price of Bitcoin? I don't know, but it will certainly influence long-term investor sentiment. Okay, simply put, what can be encrypted can be decrypted, technologically speaking. Okay, now for more info on this story, you can search for either Ross Ulbricht and Charlie Shrem, find out how the FBI got them for being criminals. Another slide on regulations and limitations. This one is about security and criminal activity and the issues associated. What you should know that has happened, as they are marked as risks or history, and from looking at my charts every day, okay, because I do look at my charts every day, I can reassure you that history repeats itself. Okay, now as safe as Bitcoin's protocol can be called, or actually it is very safe. This does not extend to all the sites and services that deal with Bitcoin, okay, or in Bitcoin. There have been security breaches on Bitcoin wallet services via social engineering attack, by compromising email accounts, as well as DOS attacks on Bitcoin's transaction malleability, okay, which means pretty much transactions that appear to not have gone through. Actually, in reality, they were successful. Okay, there's a number of other security-related events, such as the WannaCry attack that was back in May 2017, where a malicious software it hit the NHS, the National Health Service in Britain. Also, some of Spain's largest companies, including Telefonica, other computers across Russia, Ukraine, Taiwan, and it led to computers and also data being locked up and held for ransom. Also, the Pony botnet attack, a botnet that stole 2 million passwords, okay? And through those, the hackers were able to steal 220K worth of Bitcoins. In addition, there is the 51% attack, which isn't really a breach per se, but it's one of Bitcoin's network weakness, okay, where if you own more than 51% of the computing power of the whole network, it allows you to fork, okay? By fork, you can double up your coins and, to to another sub-network or to another wallet. Now, finally, dangers of once trusted sites and exchanges such as Mt. Gox and the Silk Road, unregulated, unlicensed operations that weaken services and exchanges as they do not comply to standards of trustworthiness, security, and they lack regulation and also fund protection. Okay, very important key points. Now, in terms of criminal activity, a few examples have already been mentioned, but we haven't touched the dark web, the place that illegal transactions are executed by white-collar criminals, drug kingpins, and also cyber criminals who don't want to be tracked by the world's governments. Now, criminal activities such as laundering illegal funds, facilitating crimes, including drug trafficking, public corruption, hacking, and any other identity theft, tax refund, are one of the weaknesses of Bitcoins. When looking at the regulated environment, of course, all these risks simply go away. Okay, there is still operational risks that exist. Okay, and I think these are explained in the next slide. Yes, okay, so here we see a number of operational risks and threats one should consider before investing in cryptos. Okay, the market is immature. Okay, Bitcoin has been here for a while. Okay, since 2008-9, but most of the cryptos that have hit the market have a history of only a few months data. Okay, this is only the beginning. It's only the beginning. Fluctuation risks, better put, wild price fluctuation risks, due to the high volatility of the market, owed to the early adoption phase. Now, the digital exchanges are disconnected. Okay, much movements between fiat and cryptos happen away from the exchange books, and that is because the exchange Bitcoin market is simply not large or liquid enough yet to process large trades of millions. Okay, as it happens with the Forex market. As seen in the earlier slides, regulation is different and also uneven by country or even by state in some cases in the US. And any attempt to change any regulation or law would pose a threat to specific investors. It all still is in a gray area, but I do see regulations coming in very soon. Now, one of the risks here to consider is the banks or the governments, as despite the Bitcoin Foundation have sought legal protection from US currency regulation, a premature decision could be damaging. Other risks imposed by wallets. For example, I read once someone sending 18,000 worth of Bitcoins to the wrong address. And since it's not traceable, you know what this means. Hacking risks is another. We mentioned that earlier, and how digital exchanges have been victimized of security breaches by cyber claimants. We also talked about it. Lack of transparency has brought some investors on their knees as well, as I've heard cases where traders' deposits were never allowed to be withdrawn, but only earned back from referrals. Now imagine depositing 10K, okay, and you wouldn't be able to get this back. There are digital exchanges that you shouldn't trust as they lack transparency. They are unregulated. They offer no insurance, no fund protection, no support, and you would have to be a little tech savvy to get a grasp around the platform and how to use it. Now, as long as there is no regulation, you should always remain suspicious. Now that we have finished with regulation, limitations, and the risks, here is my top 11 for resources and news sites you could use for your daily research on the crypto market. Okay, one of them is coindata.io. Second one is coindance. Third one is blockchain.info. Fourth one is coincap.io, and fifth one is coinmarketcap.com. On terms of news sites, this is where I read all the information for Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies in general. Is the Cointelegraph, CoinDesk, the Merkle, Crypto Coins News, CryptoPanic, and also coinsender.org. All of them offer different sort of news, different sort of analysis, and also they, in terms of the resources, they all have different operations. So if you want to get involved in this, this is a very helpful slide for you to use. Okay. Now, technical analysis. Okay, by using technical analysis, traders can get a better sense of market sentiment and identify key trends. Okay, and with this information, they can make better informed prediction. Now, by leveraging technical analysis, Bitcoin traders can have a better idea about market sentiment, identify trends, and potentially make better informed decisions. Okay. However, there are a few key variables that you should keep in mind. Okay. Crypto traders can potentially combine fundamental analysis with technical analysis. Okay, because the fundamentals are very important for the cryptocurrency world. For example, if I am a Bitcoin trader and I conclude that technical indicators and patterns are telling me to buy or sell, okay, I would go and evaluate and reaffirm my decision with some fundamental data. Okay, it's very important. To get a better idea of technical analysis, of course, it is crucial to understand the fundamental ideas of DAO theory. Okay, that technical analysis is based on. Now, market discounts everything. The market considers everything in its pricing. Okay, all existing prior or in upcoming details that have been integrated into the current prices. Okay, with regards to Bitcoin and cryptos, this could be comprised for multiple variables like the current, the past, and future demand, any regulations that impact the crypto market in general, if there are any upcoming forks, if there are any upcoming new coins coming in the market with new technologies, everything is relevant. Okay, price movements are not random. Rather, they often follow trends, okay, which may either be long or short term. Okay, after a trend is formed by a coin, it is probably going to follow that trend rather than go against it. Okay, what is more important than why? Technicians or technical analysts are more focused, pay more attention on the price of a coin rather than each variable that produces a move in the price, okay? And review supply and demand. Now, history, as I said that earlier, tends to get repeated. It is possible to predict market psychology. That is the main reason, okay? Traders sometimes, or say most of the times, react the same way when they are presented with a similar situation, okay? And this is true. Now, in terms of the trend, moving averages can be used, okay, obviously, in order to identify whether we'll have a bullish or bearish move, okay. The Bollinger Bands, they can also be used in order to identify how volatile the market is, okay. I would increase the periods to 25 at least to make sure that to make sure that I don't get many signals too often. Okay. Now, reversals, continuations are also seen in the cryptocurrency markets. Nothing changes in terms of this, because, as I said earlier, the main moves of the market of the cryptocurrencies are speculative. Okay, so it really depends on supply and demand, and it really depends on the community that trades the specific digital asset. So as long as there are people involved in the markets, okay, technical analysis is valid. Okay, divergence, convergence also, and support and resistance levels. They are also very useful in order to identify trends in the cryptocurrency world. This is the same as identifying trends in the Forex market. Nothing changes in respect to this. Okay. Now, in terms of indicators, indicators that can be used are the following 5. The volatility indicator. Volumes are very important in the cryptocurrency, because they show you, they give you some sort of idea of the order book. Some digital exchange providers also have the order book available publicly. RSI, relative strength index, the momentum indicator, because it will remain above 100 if there is an uptrend. And also the MACD. The MACD is very good to identify divergence, also convergence. Divergence, for example, if we had an uptrend and we have reached a strong resistance level, and then we had a forced break, we would expect some divergence there, and then some correction down, and price should continue up. In the continuation, we could expect a convergence to be seen. So the MACD is also very important. Okay. Tools, support and resistance levels, Fibonacci retracement and extension, trend lines, channels, candle, and price patterns. They're all relevant, guys. Nothing changes in terms of the technical analysis tools that you use. Indicators, I would strictly, just use the few that they are helpful for this industry. But the rest is as it was. Plus, you should always consider fundamental supports. Okay, now trend lines, is just the typical direction that a coin is moving towards. Okay. There might be, cryptocurrencies are quite volatile. Okay, so watching the price of Bitcoin or the price movement of any other crypto, it will give you a selection of highs and a selection of lows. Okay. With that in mind, don't overlook volatility. Okay, finding an upward trend, for example, with a series of higher highs. Okay, it should work in the same way as it would work in the Forex. And now, in terms of a few tips. As I said earlier, I would very pay attention to the volumes. Okay, retracements, because in an uptrend, price is expected to retrace in order to continue up, and when a retracement occurs, then the chances of more people getting in to buy are higher. Okay, so this is how the markets move pretty much. It's the same way as the markets have been moving over the past years. Okay, since forever actually. And the other tip is that the crypto world is very news sensitive. Okay, as I mentioned earlier, and you can use the slides I provided just before in order to do your daily research and identify if you want to get involved, of course, and identify whether your technical analysis decision can be supported by the fundamentals. And again, because this has been a market that has been breaking highs all over and over the past few months, breakouts are very important. So this is the reason that the Bollinger Bands are one of the tools that I'm using, because Bollinger Bands can tell you a lot of things about breaking markets. Okay, when the market is breaking, you should expect the upper level or the lower level of the Bollinger Band to break, which means a candle should close outside the top level or bottom level. Okay, and you should see 2-3 candles, bullish candles heading up. Now, trading cryptocurrencies. Okay, here I have put a table together that differentiates the digital exchange, which is an unregulated exchange and operations, versus to a regulated broker such as ourselves, where we have Ethereum, Bitcoin, Ripple, Litecoin, and Dash. We offer them as CFDs. Okay. Now, as I mentioned just now, the first thing to note is that digital exchanges are unregulated. We, as traditional brokers, are regulated by SISEC. Okay. In digital exchanges, you're going to need a digital wallet, and we have mentioned all the threats and risks involved with digital wallets earlier. Okay. Where with a regulated broker, you just need your bank account. Banks haven't been hacked, as I remember. In terms of using the platform in digital exchange, you will need some technical skills. You need to be tech savvy a little bit, and to grasp what's happening. But in terms of, in our case, you can simply use MT4, which is very widely accepted and very easy to use. In digital, we may have smart contracts. It depends. This is not on a digital exchange, but this is in general for ICOs, for example. This is how the operations run behind an initial coin offering, which could be traded on a digital exchange. Okay, where in a traditional broker, this is a contract for difference, CFD. The exchange is decentralized in most of the cases. In digital exchanges, where it's centralized with a traditional broker, there is lack of transparency, as most of those firms don't really need to no one is pushing them to be transparent, to be honest, where a regulated broker is transparent. Okay, there is no insurance over digital, so people that lose money, they're not going to get it back. Okay, in a regulated broker, and specifically ourselves, will have an insurance of up to 2.5 million euros. Okay. Now, digital exchanges, there is lack of liquidity. Okay, this is also obvious from the market cap. The market cap is 150 billion, whether the Forex market is actually exchanging volumes of about $5.3 trillion per day. There is lack of security in terms of the digital, despite the fact that the cryptocurrency protocols are very safe. No one can guarantee you that the services that use Bitcoin as a exchange currency are secure. Okay, whether we are the safest place to trade. In digitals, there is no leverage. With us, there is a leverage of up to 5 times. Okay, 1/5, pretty much. In digitals, there is also the risk of closure, okay, of a company, because there will be new regulations coming in and you never know what you should expect. So having a long trade open, hoping to be in the game, maybe you are even making actually some good profits in some cases, and suddenly the broker is just closing. That's no help. Whether with a regulated broker, there is no risk. Okay, we are offering safety funds. We're regulated. We use KYC and also know your customer and AML processes, and we are able to transact in US dollars or on euro or any other currencies, fiat currencies. Whether the digital exchanges have some risks, they are subject to regulation, but no regulations have been implemented properly yet. And that is the reason there is exchange risks, because also you might want to transfer some money to a broker's wallet and send it to a different broker. So, or not to a different broker, send it to a different address, which would mean actually that you have just lost the amount of money that you have just transacted. Which brings us to next. In digital, you have to store the money in a wallet. Whether in our case or traditional brokers, there are segregated accounts. You just need to do one transaction, one deposit, and the money is there safe. There are also some technology risks with digital brokers associated with the network and also the blockchain technology. Whether we strive for and trying to be very innovative and always follow technological advancements. In digitals, there is also some conflict with banks and also governments because this anonymity feature and a lot of other things that we have mentioned before, while regulated brokers work with banks and governments. Okay. Now, a little bit about risk management. Some of you may be wondering how things work with Bitcoin is completely different to how the Forex risks is calculated, okay, because the contract size is different for each one of the cryptocurrencies, okay. So the contract size in Forex for one standard lot is normally 100,000 units, okay. Now here for Bitcoin, you see the contract size is 1. For Ethereum, the contract size is 10, and for Dash as well. Litecoin is 100 and Ripple is 100,000. Okay, the leverage in all of them is 1/5. Okay, so this is 20% as a margin percentage, for example. This is 20%, right? So if you ever wanted to calculate your margin on a specific trade, in Bitcoin, Ethereum, Dash, Litecoin, or Ripple, you simply have to use this formula. Okay. So the current price, contract size times the margin percentage. For example, current price I think is around 5.2K. Okay, so your margin for Bitcoin, for example, would be 5,000. If there was 5,000, right? If we assume the current price 5,000 is 5,000 times 1, which is the contract size, right? Times 0.02. Okay, which is the 20% margin required. So that would be $100 margin requirement. Okay, so there is no your account balance doesn't have any significant effect. Okay, now in order to work out your stop loss or take profit level, you can use the crosshair on the MT4. See the difference between the price that you have, the assumed current price up to the stop loss levels you would like, and then multiply this by the contract size. Okay. Now, in terms of the lot size, if you want, for example, to invest to 1% of your account So then we assume that you have a balance of 5K. You would have to do 5,000 times 1%, okay, which is $50, and then divide this by the difference in pips times the contract size. You can write down those equations and keep them next to you anytime you wanted to, if you want to trade any of those new currencies, new digital assets that we offer as a CFD. Okay. Now, we have mentioned that there would be an announcement today. Okay, and I would like to do that myself. There's nothing that hasn't been online. I was surprised myself to see this, and I saw it through my LinkedIn feed. FXPRIMUS is officially a venturing party of Trade.io. Okay, we are actually being an early adopter of the forthcoming financial markets trading systems of Trade.io. Now, you may ask what Trade.io is. It's an ICO, pretty much. Okay. I don't know much of the details about this, but this is very exciting news because I have been doing a lot of research about ICOs, cryptocurrencies over the past month or the past 2 months, and when I saw this, it was so exciting news. Okay, now I don't know much details about this, but from what I found on the website, there is a few things that I can share with you. Okay, so the objectives of Trade.io firm are to be the leading platform for trading multiple financial assets based on the blockchain technology. Okay, so this is very, very good news. It aims to be the leading exchange for traditional companies to raise funds from the crypto communities, to be the most cost-effective platform to facilitate investment banking services with reduced advisory expenses, to be the biggest trading liquidity pool comprised of trade tokens holders for the benefit of trade token holders. Okay, and aims to be the top 5 crypto asset based on market capitalization. Okay. Now let's see the next slide. Okay, as early adopters, there's a few things that I had to look into on their website. Trade.io, we are going to be a trading platform, is going to be a trading platform to the blockchain. Okay, the first regulated broker to potentially adopt blockchain-based systems. Okay, there will be over 150 trading instruments ranging from Forex, CFDs to precious metals, oils, commodities, index, equities, and of course the cryptocurrencies. FXPRIMUS, as I said earlier, is an early adopter and gives Trade.io a springboard to deploy its innovation in a network that spans hundreds of thousands of professional traders, investors, and institutions. Okay. Traders can join the liquidity pool. Okay, will be able to purchase trade tokens through their wallet to participate in the forthcoming liquidity pool and potentially receive some disbursements of up to 50% based on the performance. We are FXPRIMUS. We are offering a $2.5 million insurance policy. We're the first regulated broker to do this, which is covered by Lloyd's. P2P trading across the instruments, implementing technology for P2P trading across instruments that will allow users to engage and interact amongst the community. Okay, FXPRIMUS and Primus Capital Markets, the UK, both are fully regulated brokers with CySEC and also regulated by FCA in the UK. And both of the companies are committed to be involved to Trade.io products bring resources and also capabilities to trade IO for its projects implementations, spanning all the range of expertise from financial market to technologies and to regulation and compliance. Okay, the highlights of the trade IO are the following. Fully AML compliant crowd sale. Okay, so every client would be required to provide know your customer information prior to participation. So this is the normal procedure followed by traditional brokers. Okay, there will be pre-ICO discounts. Early participants will enjoy discounts prior to opening to general ICO participants. Revenue generating from day one of integration of the e-wallet and the liquidity pool of early adopters. Trade token holders participate in liquidity pool's performance on a daily basis. Early adopters include 9-year award-winning EU regulated broker and FCA regulated broker, which is this is where we come in as early adopters. Earmarked investment banking and also Swiss banking license for Trade IO. Milestones established to be listed as an IPO, also as an initial public offering of its underlying business. And all unsold trade tokens will be burned post ICO. This is a usual move from all ICOs. Okay, I think we have come to the end for this session today in this free educational webinar on cryptocurrencies. Now, if you have any questions, this is the time that I will be answering them. Let me just pop this out. Questions. Is there any smaller size lot than the standard size? Farhan, yes. Farhan, there is the lot size. It's really up to you how much you want to invest on a specific trade. Okay. So as a risk management procedure, you should always have a minimum available for risk capital. Experienced traders normally use 1% of their account, which means if you had a 5K in your account, you would only use 50K per trade. I'm sorry, $50 per trade. Okay. Now, how can you use $50 per trade? You have to measure your stop loss. If this is, for example, 50 pips, right? Then you'll have to divide $50 over 500, and that would be 0.1. So on a 5K account with 1% risk, the lot size that you should invest based on 1% risk is 0.1 lots. Does this make sense, Farhan? Will be recorded. Yes, the webinar will be recorded. It is recorded and it will be sent out to everybody. Do you offer demo account for crypto? You can open a demo account and use the cryptocurrencies there, Farhan. We offer demo accounts. We don't differentiate between instruments on demos. You have all the range of currencies as you should have. What is the process of conducting fundamental analysis of cryptos? Farhan, on this slide, where is it? Oh, yes, on this slide, you have the resources and news sites, okay? Under the news sites, you have 6 named websites that you can visit to do your research. Okay, this is how you do fundamental research on cryptos. Okay, they are crypto-based, all of them. Okay, and they are legitimate. Okay, this is the reason I have them here. Now, saying this, by legitimate, I don't mean that everything they say it's 100% true, it's 100% correct. But the sources are, because you never know where the sources come. And for example, there has been a lot of people saying that China will resume the ICOs and will allow the ICOs back in play. Okay, but you'll probably be able to read this somewhere in here. But the thing is, if I don't personally see an official statement or an announcement from the government of China, okay, that wouldn't mean much to me. Now, the thing is that the market will react because the news are coming on the media. Okay, so whether you want to react on such news or not, this is your decision. But I would be very cautious. How much capital do I need to trade cryptos without leverage? There is no leverage involved, Farhan. Capital. Okay, well, it really depends on you can trade with anything. You can trade with $100, 300, 500, 10,000. It really depends on how much, what is your lot size. Okay, you can start very slow, very small, and see how it goes. Is there any swap rates for overnight open positions? Yes, there is. There is for overnight. I'm not too sure, but let's just have a look. All the information needed, it's online. Note that the spreads are very high, guys, on cryptocurrencies, and this is coming because of the liquidity provider. So this has not been updated for cryptos yet. Equities, there we go. Trading specifications. So swaps, longs, trading hours. Farhan, overnight there isn't. Let's have a look on the MT4 to be certain. Any information cannot be found on, is not clear, you can find on MT4 normally. So if we just go, let's say that we go on Bitcoin, hidden specifications. Here you can see your margin percentage, you can see your contract size. Okay, swap type. Okay, there we go. Swap long is minus 2.33. Swap short is minus 2.33. Okay, 3-day swap on Friday. Okay, next question. The Bitcoin exchange trades 7 days a week, but FXPRIMUS stop on week. Is other plans to trade Bitcoin 7 days off? Hi, Liang. The Bitcoin exchange is a digital exchange that trades 7 days a week, and they are not regulated. And this is because, as I said, we said earlier that the exchange in most of the cases is decentralized. FXPRIMUS will not trade over the weekends because the markets are closed. Okay, note that the tradable instrument, the cryptos are tradable instruments as contracts for difference. Okay, CFDs. Like Forex, there is a mini and micro account. Yes, there should be mini and micro account, Farhan. Have an account, FXPRIMUS can trade with cryptos in the same account, or required to have the Trade.io account. No, you're not required to have the Trade.io account, Milind. You can simply go on your MT4 and right click here, anywhere on this chart, on the market watch, and click show all. The show all button will show you all the available instruments. Okay, if you scroll down, you will see here Bitcoin, Ethereum, Ripple, Litecoin, and Dash. Okay, how can I be a part of Trade.io? Molyadi, I don't know anything about Trade.io. It is something that we're early adopters. I don't know about the technology. I don't know about any requirements. It would be best if you visit their website and just ask support there. I suppose there should be a live support button there to use. crypto movements are counted in pips or points or something new. Crypto movements are counted in points, okay? And let's have a look. Where was our latest slide? They all have a different value. Not all of them, but not all of them specifically individually. For example, here, point value in cents. Okay, so 1 Bitcoin is in cents. Okay, Ethereum is 10 cents, Dash 10 cents, then Litecoin 100, and also the Ripple is 1. Okay, this is if you just look at this, right? There is 2 decimals after the two points after the decimal. So this is 0.01. Okay, this one is a point. Okay, on the ETH, this is 0.001. Okay, so times the contract size. Okay, and the contract size is 10. Okay, XRP has 4 digits, 1, 2, 3, 4 digits. Okay, so they're all different. By using those equations, you should be able to calculate your pips in points. Okay, so just to give an example, what is this? This is dollar yen. Okay, let's go on ETH. If you just scroll, if we just say that you want to enter the market here, right, and you want to place a stop loss down there, then this is almost 3,000 pips. Okay, 3,000 pips. So in order to, and this is times your contract size. Your contract size is 10. Okay, so going back to the slide, Ethereum, your contract size is 10. Okay, so we have 3 digits, right? So this would be, if this is 3 digits, right, and I see here a value of 3,000, that would mean I can use 3 digits. This is 3 pips, right? Because this is 0.67. These are the 3 digits. Okay, the 3 is not, is at the front side. Does FXPRIMUS plan to become like a traditional exchange where people can buy and sell bitcoins? Clarentino, you will be able to buy and sell bitcoins as you are now. I don't know what the Trade.io exactly is. The technology behind it is the blockchain technology. There is some mention that there will be a peer-to-peer trading. Is that correct? Let's check those points. P2P trading across instruments, okay, by using the blockchain. Thank you very much. Hope to get the copy of this webinar. Salim, it will be available in recording. Hi Stavros, I missed the first 10 minutes, so I do not know what you explained about Bitcoin or the meaning of crypto. Miguel Fernandez, the recording will be sent out in an email, so you can watch it at home anytime. When is your next webinar? Salim, the next webinar, I believe it will be the next NFP, the first Friday of November. When is the ICO for Trade.io? Molyadi. Molyadi, let's have a look. ICO, the pre-ICO is in 25 days. Okay. The pre-ICO is in 25 days. Hold on, I lost the question box. Okay, is the Sharia compliance on this crypto trading? Adli Ralzali, is the Sharia compliance of this crypto trading? I don't really understand what Sharia is. Can you repeat the question, please? If I open an account for 1,000, what lot size should I trade for an unleveraged position of Bitcoin or Ether? Okay, Farhan, it really depends on how much you want to risk. Okay, if you want to risk 1% or 5%, obviously your lot size will be different. So you need to set your risk appetite level, and then use this calculation, this formula to find your risk, your lot size. Okay. Any crypto with positive swap? There are swaps, Farhan. Yes. It could be positive or negative. Is one start a lot, one Bitcoin? So one long position, if Bitcoin price moves 0.011, one will only make 0. The Bitcoin moves in points. Okay, so one movement of a point, it would be 1 cent high liang. Okay, one start a lot means the current price of Bitcoin. So one start a lot is 5,000 in terms of units. Where to buy cryptos for long-term investment or position trading if I want to avoid swap rates? I don't know, Farhan, you have to do your own research on this one, because I haven't done it myself, and if I haven't done it myself, I mean, I can't really give you any recommendations. Do this have any correlation to risk on of sentiment? I'm not really understanding your question. The cryptocurrencies are not really correlated with fiat, but risk on off sentiment, when of course, then when there is risk on, it means that safe havens are in demand, so gold should go high. As I mentioned in a previous slide, the Venezuela are considering Bitcoin as safe haven, so there you go. 3,000 pip move in Ether, is it a massive move or short move? 3,000 pips is $3. Okay. On the price chart, I mean. Are the slides you have used available online? Yes, they will be available. Not the slides, the report will be available. Miguel Fernandez, you're welcome. Is there Saraya swap free on this crypto? Again, this, I don't understand the Saraya. 1/1. As long as you don't have swap, and this is against religion. Yes, I know that you don't have swaps, Adli. Adli, you should contact support with those questions. What is the expectation of the value to trade.io by this year end? Salim, I have no idea. I don't know what is the pre-ICO price. Actually, the price is $1.25. I think 115 or something like this. I don't know what the value will be by this year end, and they haven't even launched yet, so no idea. I want to open a Bitcoin trade as a test or trial. Can I open this as 0.0, and can I expect this to go up in the next 2 or 3 hours, just like for Miguel? Yes, you can open a test trade as long as in a demo. This is a test trade on demo. Yes, you can open 0.01. It could go up. You never know. It has been actually, Bitcoin did a fresh record high earlier today. I went above the 5K. Let's have a look if it's still above. Yes, so it's moving above. Bitcoin is going to the moon, apparently. So Miguel, I can open this trade for you on a demo account. Okay, so let's go through this example, guys, just for the reference. Okay, let's get our calculator out here. Okay, let's look at our account. Okay, I have 1400 here, so I want to invest 1% per trade. Okay, so this is $14.3. So I want to place my stop loss $14.3 away. Okay, so I will do, this is 14.3, right? So if I want to place my stop loss, let's say down here, okay, that would be 50,853. This is about $500 in terms of value. Okay, so looking at this is the difference in pips. So we had 14. We said here. $51,363. On Bitcoin, we have 2 digits. 1, 2, so that would be 513. That would be 0.02. Okay. So 0.02. Okay, won't let you open anything lower than 0.02, so we can't open the trade. So the minimum investment is 0.10, okay, on the Bitcoin. So I wouldn't open a trade right here, okay, because the risk is too high for this specific trade, because the distance is very big. Let's have a look again to their questions. One second, guys. Let me just get the questions back on. Okay, safe haven effect. Yes, Farhan, it's considered a safe haven, the Bitcoin. For Farhan, yes, you may submit request on your MT4 for Soraya compliance, swap free accounts. Okay, all cryptos are considered safe haven. I wouldn't say that for all cryptos, no. Bitcoin for now is the king, and this is the only one that has been accepted as a payment method. Okay. Bitcoin price has broke the 5,000 market. Speculation on where it will end up before the end of year. Before the end of year, this is months away. I don't know, Giovanni. I can assume that there will be a lot of fluctuations because we are expecting the closure of 2 big brokerages in China at the end of this month. Now, whether this is going to happen or not, I do not know. But there is a lot of interest in this market, and institutional investors also trade it. Is an expiration duration for an open trade, and if there is, how long is it? Expiration duration. There is no expiration duration for an open trade, but there are swaps charged, and also trades depending on the assets will be closed after a few weeks. The lot size you measure, are these the standard market lot sizes including digital brokers or the FXPRIMUS made up? No, this is Farhan, this is purely for CFD. Okay, this is purely for CFD. And I don't know what other brokers do, traditional brokers, but this is ours for our platform. How the Bitcoin price been indexed? What do you mean high? How the price has been indexed? The Bitcoin price is speculative. Purely, you mean where it's coming from? It's coming from liquidity providers. I don't know who the liquidity provider is. Guys, any other questions? If there is any questions I haven't answered, please email me. My email can be found on the last page over here. Okay. Feel free to email me for any more questions. I'll do my best to get back to you as soon as I can. Okay. And thank you for learning to this webinar. I hope you enjoyed it and you have heard some good news today as well. Keep an eye on your emails or on your SMSs if you receive the SMS for our next free educational webinar. And as I said earlier, if you have any questions, please feel free to email. Just use the title Cryptocurrencies webinar so that I know that it's coming from one of the attendees. Okay, other than that, thank you. Have a good day ahead and always trade safe.